But let's dive into our first topic, guys. It's brought to us by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here. Only 3 games left in the playoffs, which gives you 3 more chances to get a profit boost pack inside the FanDuel app. You get your profit boost packs the same way you do all your FanDuel betting. You just log into the app, make your picks, and then apply the profit boost for even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. Just visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every single NFL playoff game day. All right, guys, Jordan Schultz reported that the Browns, at least to his belief, are down to 2 real finalists for their head coach opening. Grant Udinski and Nate Scheelhaase, who will interview at some point after the Rams are done. Udinski's scheduled to interview for the second time with the Browns tomorrow. They do have Jesse Minter in Berea today for a second interview, even though he wasn't one of the considered favorites, according to Jordan Schultz. But, Tyvis, I wanted to ask you this. We know Jim Schwartz interviewed for a second time on Monday.
Rejected.
If the Browns end up going with either Scheelhaase or Udinski, whether one of those two truly is the finalist that the Browns are eyeing to make their next head coach, do you think Schwartz would stay on, and do you think that second interview with Schwartz was less of an actual head coach interview and more of a feeling out process for how he'd feel in that actual scenario?
Would he stay on as the DC? Is that the question?
Yeah, if they hire Udinski or Scheelhaase, do you think he would still stay on?
I think he would. I think that this organization has shown him how much they value him. You know, even if they don't make him a head coach, you know, they still value him. I mean, one of the quote unquote requirements that they want to have is that you retain him. So I think he's at a place where he's seeing his defense become one of the top in the NFL, you know, and it's his guys. It's hard to just leave your guys, even if you don't get the job, you know. So I think unless somebody else is going to hire him a head coach, I think that those 2 young guys will be willing to keep him on staff. I think that's also a reason why I think they're going with those 2 guys anyways. So yeah, I think he would stay. I won't think he would look at it as much as a slap in the face. I know he wants to be a head coach again, but clearly the Browns have shown how much they value him if they're trying to make a stipulation of him being retained by another guy. So why would you leave somewhere that value you? That's my thought on it.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, I don't know if they'll give him some more money. Give him, you know.
I'm sure they'll give him some more money.
They should offer him a raise.
Yeah, they will 100% give him more money.
Give him a little more bag. Obviously, he has autonomy over there. He gets to do what he wants. Like, he knows the guys, and hey, you got a really good defensive room full of people. Myles Garrett is still there. Denzel Ward, Grant Delpit. All your guys are coming back. So it's like, cool. Like, hey, like, all right, well, I threw my hat in the ring. I didn't get it. I got a raise. It's cool. I could just continue to keep doing what I'm doing. The organization brought you in for 2 interviews. I think they going in to see what energy that he has. The thing is, when you look at the landscape, I think Udinski, didn't he go to Buffalo?
Yeah.
He's not interviewed with Buffalo yet, but they have requested an interview with
Okay,
him.
so you got that. Is Scheelhaase, what other?
He's interviewed a few places already.
Where is he interviewed at so far?
Everywhere.
He's had 4, I believe. I'll double-check the exact place, but I believe he has 4 head coach interviews.
Okay, so look, I think the second interview was to kind of prep and prime and just keep it real. Like, hey, listen, the thing about talking to some guys and Jim Schwartz is they already know him. There's a relationship. They can come to him in their second interview and be like, look, we really got you as a finalist. We got some other things that we need to talk about in terms of these other candidates. Now, if them other candidates go, I wouldn't be surprised if Udinski blew the socks off the Bills and they were like, all right, well, we got Josh Allen here. That's a pretty good job.
There's no way they're hiring. There's no way the Bills with a Super Bowl quarterback are hiring a 30-year-old
No, they're going to
coach.
probably hire Brian Daboll.
Right.
Dable is a.
He makes sense.
And he they like.
They
I
said
mean, he's
that
the one who developed Josh Allen.
They say him and Josh Allen continue to have a really strong relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you're going to go from a defensive guy who took you to the playoffs, it's a no-brainer that I'm getting rid of him to go with to cater to the quarterback. Like,
you can't hire a 30-year-old coach when you're a win-now team.
No.
I mean, it's already crazy to begin with, but on a win-now team, you can't do that.
Who is it? Who is the Raiders looking at? What happened to Cliff Kingsbury?
Hey, who's the Cardinals and I haven't heard nothing about them.
About the Cardinals.
I mean, let's face it, the Cardinals and Browns have to kind of wait because anybody with an option is going to choose those 2 last.
Well, I kept telling you that's why that's why they going the route that they're going.
Well, but Scheelhaase,
they might not, and they probably won't get Scheelhaase.
The only thing I don't like that you said there that has me concerned is that they're hiring one of these two guys just because they want to keep Jim Schwartz. That would be really stupid.
Well, I mean, anybody else that come in.
Well, you should be hiring the best guy for the job, not the best guy that will keep Jim Schwartz.
But I also like the Udinski thing. Like,
yeah.
They probably value his mind. They probably understand that he's not quite ready to be a head coach, but they're willing to. Because next year it doesn't matter. They can hire Vince Lombardi, and they're still not going to be good.
Let me ask you this:
I think that they realize that
no 8-9 next year.
Dude. Anyways,
yeah.
I think that they realize that. So this is going to be some growing pains for him. I think you keep a Jim Schwartz around because that was the guy who had head coaching experience. That was the guy who seen what went wrong last year, so he could be a good mentor on staff already built.
I think if you hire Scheelhaase or Udinski because you truly believe they're the best candidate, that's great. If you're hiring them just because they're the best candidate that would keep Schwartz, that's bad. That being said,
it could be both.
You hire the best candidate. If you're Scheelhaase or Udinski, there's no reason why you wouldn't want to keep Jim
That's
Schwartz.
my point.
Right. There's no reason why. But don't hire them for that reason. Now, in terms of Schwartz, you guys said he both, we don't know exactly what he's thinking, right? He might be insulted. Because if you're him, you're like, they just hired this kid to coach.
Could be.
I've been in this league forever. Udinski's been here 8 seconds, and they think he's a better head coach. He may be insulted. We don't know. I don't know his personality. If Jim Schwartz is not going to get a head coaching job now, he's probably never going to get one.
Correct.
Right? So he may come to that realization, but we don't know how much he'll take this as an insult. I don't believe they gave him a second interview for that reason. That doesn't make any sense. He's part of the organization already. I'm sure they've already talked. I'm sure they've already asked. They wouldn't. The odds are you guys are right that he's willing to stay if they hire a young guy because the Browns have made it clear that they want to keep him. I don't think they would make that clear, although the Jimmy, you never know, I guess. But I don't think you make that clear unless you know he's going to stay no matter what.
Would you, if it's down to, this is kind of weird because if Scheelhaase goes somewhere else and
he probably will.
So real quick, Scheelhaase has interviewed G, just so we're on the same page, with Baltimore, Cleveland, the Raiders, and the Steelers are the 4 teams.
Yeah, they're all open. Now, we don't know that those teams are going to pick him.
But I mean, if you Scheelhaase and you're a former quarterback, why would you not go to Baltimore?
Right. Well, sure, but we don't know that he's their first choice. We don't know that.
No, I agree with you.
They're also a win now team.
But you also
are you going to hire a young coach?
You also got to say, like, you look at the pool out there.
Yeah, the pool is
very thin.
McDaniel is off the board.
Dayball probably off the board.
Dayball's off the board.
So now you left with Clint Kingsbury. I can't even say the man's name.
Clint Capella.
You're combining two. You have Clint Kubiak and Clint Kingsbury.
Yeah.
You just combine two into one offensive coach.
Correct. You got those two dudes.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Jesse Minter.
Who's approved?
Sean McDermott.
Who's a guy who's been a head coach before that's an offensive coach? Mike McCarthy,
Cliff Kingsbury,
and Mike McCarthy. So
I wouldn't want either.
And by the way, Scheelhaase is with McVay.
Yeah.
They out here cooking. They about to go be in the NFC Championship game. His name is hot.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it like, okay, well, if he goes to Baltimore or some other place, would you rather take? Because there's an option. Are they weighing? All right, if it's Udinski and it's Schwartz. You can have either or. Either you can have Udinski be the head coach or Schwartz be the head coach.
As much as I think it's a long shot, I'd rather have Udinski.
You would rather take Udinski over Schwartz.
I'll take a chance on the young guy, that maybe he's got this, and Mike Pettin spoke very highly of him yesterday. So that made me feel
That was a great interview, by the way. I watched it.
Yeah, thank you.
Udinski or Schwartz, because theoretically they could have both of them on the roster, but the roles will flip.
That's the only way. Yeah,
because they could keep Schwartz as head coach and Udinski could be the offensive coordinator.
And who would I want the coordinator?
Right.
In a perfect world, you want Jim as the head and Udinski as the OC.
Would you?
The problem is if you do it that way, and let's say Udinski is this wonder kid that everybody thinks he is.
He's leaving.
Well, in a year or two, he's gone as
That's
head
a
coach.
fact.
Whereas you do it the other way,
That's a fact.
you could keep Schwartz as your DC forever, in theory.
Yeah, he can.
You know?
What's the? So
that's
he can
the
be the new
thing.
Steve Spagnuolo.
Right.
Spags.
The way I think about it is if they hire Scheelhaase or Udinski, it was like when McVay had, what's his name?
Kevin O'Connell?
No. Who was his DC?
Wade Phillips.
Wade Phillips.
Oh, Wade Phillips.
Right? Remember? Like he was like, he was a new coach, young coach. He's like, this guy's been around forever. He was a head coach before, kind of like Jim Schwartz.
And it worked.
He ran the defense.
McNuggets, let me ask you this question.
Shoot.
For young coaches, does the money matter? Say, for instance, they're young, unproven
What are you
coaches.
talking about
No,
right
what
now?
I'm saying like this is,
Does the
if I'm
money
looking at it and I
matter?
say I get to, if I'm Scheelhaase or Udinski, and they say I get a chance to be with Lamar Jackson, right? And the Ravens offer you the job, they want you. But is there any way that the Browns can outbid them and say, hey, I'll give you this amount of money?
I doubt it.
I don't think so because you only get so many opportunities at that specific position. You get two tops, right? Two tops. Have we ever seen?
And let's face it. Let's be honest. I know some people are uptight about race.
If you black
coches
one.
get less
Oh,
opportunities.
you get a half.
100%.
Listen, we ain't heard Gerard Mayo's name since he got fired last year.
Antonio Pierce.
And I feel
Aaron
so
Glenn,
bad
Aaron
about
Glenn,
that.
you got about
Aaron Glenn gets
5
fired,
seconds.
Aaron
done.
Glenn is starting the season on the hot
And
seat.
Salah, this your last done, but you got to look like Boris Kozel.
And so Nate Scheelhaase has got to
Raheem
be.
Morris was 8-9, tied for first place
Yeah.
in the division and got
Jim
fired.
Caldwell
Hey,
was decent in Detroit. He was probably their best coach.
Vance Joseph.
Yeah.
Bieniemy
So-
can't even get an interview.
Yeah.
Bieniemy went back to Kansas City as a play caller.
So
or as an
Scheelhaase,
OC.
if I'm Scheelhaase, I'm not taking the Browns job over the Ravens job for a few extra million. What are the Ravens going to? So the Ravens are going to pay you 6, and the Browns going to pay you 10.
And it's not like the Ravens go lowball you because
Right.
they don't kind of get your cap anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, so-
I mean, you never know, but I can't imagine that guy is.
When you think about
Yeah.
the money part of it,
Yeah.
no, because I know the money is way different nowadays. But let's say every contract so far we've seen has been 5 years. Let's say $80 million, right? It's probably more or less, whatever. If the Browns came in and said $5 million, $85 million, well, that doesn't matter because
Minimum.
I got to get past 2 years.
Yeah.
Like which one of these jobs?
Well, they're all
you'll be
guaranteed. The money's
though.
guaranteed.
I understand. No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get fired after 2 years.
Oh, right,
If
right,
I don't
yeah.
perform.
Right.
So which one of these jobs can I make it to actually see the next contract?
Yeah, right. That's true.
I'm gonna get fired.
Right. So,
And
like,
now I'm only gonna have one opportunity
for
left.
somebody to consider the Browns over the Ravens, the money would have to be so outrageously more, I would think.
Yeah, it had to be done.
Like that, I just don't see that. You're going to offer Nate Scheelhaase $25 million a year to be the head coach? I mean,
He'd sign right today.
Yeah, something like that.
He'd
You
need a
go
playoff
crazy,
game
but
to come sign today.
Is Todd Monken just out of here?
I don't know.
Has anybody heard of Todd?
You know he's going to be the head coach now, Todd.
I know. It's like now because now all of a sudden
Nobody's going to be excited about
Nobody. Even and then we gotta sit here and because we told him we give him a chance.
Yeah.
So all
We
of
have
us
to.
go,
Yeah.
and then all of us gonna be like this.
Right now, there's definitely a Scheelhaase contingent, an Udinski contingent, and a Schwartz contingent. There is
no Todd Monken contingent.
no Todd Monken contingent.
And any
There's
city
no
at all.
Monken Mafia.
No,
There's no Monken Mafia.
What about Jesse Minter?